Reaching your goals, your dreams, whatever you want in life is actually easier than you think it is. It all comes down to the right habits. It actually comes down to a word people don't like to admit is hard. It's discipline. Discipline is a word that sounds harsh. It sounds hard. Just saying it sounds tough. Like, how am I going to do that? It takes discipline. I don't have discipline, right? Well, I can tell you, personally, this one habit of discipline equals true freedom and has for me and changed my life. And it's interesting because the way I looked at discipline when I was younger was completely the opposite. Discipline when I was a kid was strict. My dad was strict and it was great because I needed it. I'm very grateful to that strictness and that discipline today. The rules were strict and disciplined, but they were disciplined as framework. They weren't disciplined as unreasonable, number one. Number two, I went to Catholic school. Guess what? Nuns are strict. Nuns are discipline. And when I think of discipline, I used to think of nuns. I still remember Sister Dolorine in the 5th grade and the way that she flung my copybook across the room because it wasn't done correctly. I'm telling you, discipline is hard, but the right habits built around discipline can really change someone's life. They can help make the goals, dreams, anything someone wants easier, simpler. Discipline doesn't have to be hard. Here's how it is easy. It's easy if you build habits in and around the very things that make you successful. So the reality is, the example I always use is I'm a sprinter. I'm a sprinter. I like to run hard and run fast and breathe. And I like to run hard and run fast again and breathe. That means, now look, I can go on long sprints, I can go on short sprints, but the reality is if I start my day running too fast, I struggle. See, this is number one goal of making discipline easy is understanding your operating system. What is your operating system? How do you function? Understanding that I'm a sprinter means that I cannot start my days sprinting. I can't run to start. Can't wake up, check my email first thing, because I am answering emails and running from the get-go. I will be exhausted midway through the day. You gotta build your day. How do you find peace in a sprinter's life? You have to sometimes start with breathing and getting in the right framework. I work on mindset in the morning. I work on framework. I start slow and build myself up, just like you would a warm-up. You know, a morning routine, having a successful morning routine for someone like me who's a sprinter is knowing my operating system. Having the self-awareness to know what actually derails me and what keeps me disciplined is very, very important. Knowing my operating system is really good with food. I love chocolate. I love to eat chocolate, especially midday. If it's in the house or around me, guess what? I'll eat it. If it's not there, I won't. A disciplined approach is not choosing to not have to eat the chocolate. My approach would be not having it in the house. That helps me make better decisions. I'm just working within my operating system. I'm not telling you it's not hard. I'm not telling you that don't eat chocolate. And I'm also not telling you that your wife won't consistently buy it for you and put it right in the freezer where you love it so that you can always cheat when you need to, because that's my life. But the truth is, knowing what makes you successful makes the habit something you're focusing on and builds discipline into your life. It's not as hard as what it might have been when you were a kid. Discipline does equal freedom. See, the old days, we kind of thought that having complete freedom was actually just doing whatever you wanted. But what we realized, because you find this on the weekends, a lot of people know this about themselves on the weekends. You wake up, you don't have to go to work. So what do? You have a cup of coffee. You read the paper. You watch a Premier League game. Whatever it may be, you slowly start the day. Before you know it, the day's gone and you got nothing done. And you feel miserable because you only had those 2 days to get all these things done that you needed to, but your complete freedom meant that you didn't do anything in the day that made you feel accomplished, which is a cycle that doesn't actually make you feel so great. So if you know your operating system and you've got one important thing to get done, it's not a bad idea to eat the frog first thing in the morning. Then to feel like you got the entire day in front of you. Knowing how you're going to function successfully can really help that habit. And so for me, if there's something I have to get done, I actually will try to get it done first thing in the morning. That allows me to rest throughout the day. And that tends to be a successful habit inside of my world. Listen, what this really goes back to is creating an organization around your day. There's a reason why journals work. There's a reason why reminders on your phone work. There's a reason why setting up a calendar and having a couple of big priorities for the day works. Overwhelming yourself with to-do lists and extensive lists of things you'll never get done is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is organizing your day in a way where you time block just a little bit, loosely. Loose discipline, if you will. It's framing your day so you can be successful. But it starts with each day. It's not just setting the goals. It's not saying, I want to make $1 million in my life. I want to make $1 million. Great goal. Love it. How are you going to get there? You're going to get there by being organized every day and knowing the stepping stools it's going to take. So if you're in real estate, for example, it's going to take X number of sales to reach that $1 million sales goal. You know the stepping stool it's going to take, but can you break it down by a daily workload? Can you prioritize one thing that if you do it every single day is going to help you be successful? This is called practice, right? Practice is crucial. Why is practice crucial? And why the heck do we realize this when we're 40 versus when we're 14? You know, my dad used to tell me about practice all the time, and he loved to practice, and I hated to practice. I just wanted game time. I just wanted games. But practice makes you better prepared for the games. Practice makes you better prepared for when you're in the game to make the right decision at the right time. Practice is actually just an organizational structure to be prepared when your day comes that you hit that $1 million. Practice is setting up your day to be most successful and organizing it daily, weekly, monthly, all the way into the years. But the yearly goals become really easy when you're setting up your day, one day at a time. Don't forget to remind yourself at the end of the day what you actually got done. This is always an important thing for those of you that are sprinters like me. My mom and I had this conversation yesterday, and we were talking about the fact that so many times we squeeze so much into a day that we actually forgot or forget all that we got accomplished 2 to 3 days earlier. Yeah, that might sound like a lot to many of you who don't function that way, but for us, living in this ADHD world that we live in, we move really fast. And when you look back on a day and you take the time to actually write down, wow, I got those 3 priorities done, or I did get to see that person I really wanted to see yesterday, or I had a great lunch with my team, I'm so grateful I had that time. If you don't look back as part of your skills, you actually live in that future world all the time, and you can't be grateful for what you did get accomplished. See, organizing your day has 2 parts. It's organizing your day and then looking back at your accomplishments. And it's good to do that on a regular basis. Again, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. What you'll find is you got way more done than you thought you did, especially if you were disciplined. The hard word, disciplined, right? But it's really just about forming habits that make you more successful. Discipline is nothing more than creating habits within your operating system on a daily basis that fit into your world the right way so you can make the right decisions. You know, if there's a restaurant that you just can't make good decisions at when you go eat there, don't go. Like, it's really simple. Look how simple that is. I know you love Carvel, but seriously, just don't go to Carvel and you can make the best decisions in the world. No 3,000 calorie desserts. It takes a long time on a Peloton to run off a 3,000 calorie dessert. Believe me, I know. The reality is not going there might be the simplest decision that you make. These are small daily things that we can do that almost trick us into being disciplined and not making the word so hard. Setting goals is also really important, and realistic goals, okay? I can't say know your operating system and then know how to be successful and self-aware if we don't talk about setting realistic goals. So many people I know set goals that are so unrealistic. They're nowhere near those goals, okay? You can make it whatever you want. You can make it about your career. You can make it about weight loss. You can make it about working out. You can make it about whatever goals are the most challenging in your life. But the reality is, pick something where you can actually go from A to B to C to D. Don't set goals that take you from A to Z with no workload in between. It's really, really important. If you're gonna practice something, practice the steps that get you to the next step, not practicing the steps that get you 5 steps ahead. Sounds great, but we all know that that self-awareness and knowing what takes you to actually build on those stepping stones can be quite valuable for your future. Creating a plan in and around those goals is also a part of that. Okay, so you organize your day, you set the goals, you made them realistic and specific and measurable and all the things that you need to do, but now you have to actually set the parameters of how and when you're going to reach them. These are habit forming, right? There's a great book by B.J. Fogg called Tiny Habits. This book does a great job of laying out how to make really hard things easy. Some of the advice that B.J. offers in the book in Tiny Habits are anchoring your goal or your objective to something you already do. I'll give you an example. Every morning I was meditating, every single morning when I woke up. Every morning I got to the point, it took years by the way, and I actually had anchored meditating to waking up because I felt like, hey, if I can just get 5 minutes every morning when I wake up, as soon as I open my eyes, it'll be the first thing I do. I'm anchoring it to something I already do where there's a little bit of space or a little bit of gap. If you add on to that anchor, which I did, I added on to the anchor and I started reading scripture every morning. It was something that became easy because I was already doing 5 minutes of meditation. These are things that have made my morning routine slower for the sprinter mentality, but they've helped me to anchor. I've built my day in and around feeling accomplished from the beginning of it so that I can control and have a little bit of freedom in the discipline that exists in the latter part of the day. Very, very smart. One of my friends actually started doing, she wanted to do push-ups. And she was 71 years old. And she said she wanted to do push-ups every day. So she actually anchored it to going to the restroom. Every time she went to the restroom, she did 5 push-ups. She was at the point where she was doing like 50 push-ups without even having to stop. It was amazing. Anchoring habits to things you're already gonna do, make it a little bit easier. But find what works for you. Tiny habits is a great word, great couple of words, because it's creating small little habits that make you successful, that help you reach those goals, that help you practice all the right thing. Last but not least, and you cannot not do it with this, okay? You gotta surround yourself with people that make you better. If you have a goal and you surround yourself with people that constantly make you break your goals, wrong crew, wrong people. Like, it's just not the right group. If it were your children or your nieces or nephews or your sisters and brothers that are younger than you and they were telling you, hey, every time I set a goal and I'm around these friends, they all make it okay for me to break my goals, doesn't help you. Discipline doesn't have to be hard. And guess what? It's super easy when you're surrounded by the right people. Discipline is easy. It's easy when you're around the right people. People that make you better, that hold you accountable. If you say your goal is to not go to Carvel, they're the friends that say, don't go to Carvel on the way home. You know, they're trying to help you succeed because it's an internal goal for you. It's something that matters to you. See, when you're surrounded by the right people, you actually want to be better. You want to do better. You want to have the right kind of practice. You want to do all the right things because it's the right crew. When you're surrounded by the wrong people, they're the ones that take you to the restaurant that you don't want to go to. They're the ones that constantly bring you food because they want to actually eat bad with you. That is not the types of people that make you better. They're the types of people that keep you from reaching your goals. And remember, we started this video out with reaching all your dreams and goals is easy with this one simple thing, and the simple thing is discipline. But simplifying discipline is what we're actually breaking down to make it easy. And if you're going to make discipline easy, it's built around your habits. It's built around the who's, the how's, and the what's you surround yourself with. So if you want to make discipline not like the nuns of my Catholic school days made discipline, or how I felt as a child with strict rules or curfews. But looking back as an adult, what I realized is those strict bumper lanes kept me in line, kept me successful, helped me see the future of goals and dreams. And when I got there to practice, I was ready for the next stage. I was surrounded by the right people. I knew who to designate between the right people and the wrong people. Those decisions made discipline easy. But understanding that discipline equaled freedom is one of the greatest things I ever learned. And it's something that I wish everybody took the time to understand. You have the choice to make discipline easy in your life. You have the choice to build the tiny habits it takes to be successful, to reach all your dreams and goals. And if you don't think you can, find a group of people that do think you can, because that sometimes is the catalyst to work in the opposite direction. Maybe sometimes what you have to do is separate to surround yourself with the right people first, then build all the other habits around the discipline. This formula works both ways, but I'm telling you, it works, and it's worked for me. So make discipline easy. Help discipline become the easiest thing you have in your day. Simplify it. Simplify freedom. because that's where freedom lies in discipline. That's where it is. And it's not a secret if you actually break it down in simpler terms. So if this is the kind of video you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share. Someone needs a positive influence in their lives. Someone needs to know that discipline isn't hard. Help us share that message.